Hello, Jill. Good morning. Hello, Fernando. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Etty. Bom dia, Fernando. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine. The sun came 1 hour ago.
Well, awesome.
How it is today in Atlanta?
It's still cool, but we're supposed to have a sunny week, and we'll have some warmer days and some cool nights. But it's slowly transitioning out of that really cold weather.
Good. Good to hear. Thank you.
It's nice to hear your voice. I'm glad to be here.
Me too. I'm very glad to hear your voice. Good morning, Fernando. I hope you can hear us.
Shalom, Eti. Shalom, Jill. Good to hear you all. How are you doing, Eti?
Fine. And how are you? How was the weekend? How was the weather?
Oh, and the weather is great around here. The sun is shining, but it's not a hot day. It's a very pleasant day. So I'm happy to be here, Eti. Happy to hear you.
Thank you so much. Do you have questions or thoughts that you would like to share with us before we start?
If I may, Eti, I wish to share one thought that I was reading the book of Zohar yesterday, Eti, and I could have some time to read it, and just to point one story that I would like to hear from you. It can be in another time, but the Book of Zohar speaks about the journey, the Moses journey through heaven to get the Torah, and how he managed to pass through all the celestial beings to achieve the Torah to us. And I read it in the Babylonian Talmud as well, the relate of this story. So if you could say something about this, it is very beautiful, because we have the same idea, let's say, in Dante's vision, when in the comedy of Dante, when he ascends to heaven, going from circle to circle.
Yes.
And I think that even in the Quran we have something very similar, a story about Mahomet going to heaven, passing through angels and everything. So just this story took my attention yesterday, and I don't know what you think about it.
Thank you for sharing with us your question and your impression from reading. I would like to relate to it in a serious manner, so I will have to look at the sources, where they appear in the Book of Zohar, in the Babylonian Talmud, and I would like to give a deep relation to your question. So if you could send me the source, I would appreciate it a lot. Thank you. I will answer this question. And I would like to greet our friends on YouTube, Victoria Meyer from Germany and Michelle from Australia, Sydney. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Michelle. Good afternoon, Victoria. Thank you for your participation here this afternoon. Could you get closer to the mic? Yes, I'm trying to get closer to the mic. Nedalia is good morning and shalom. Thank you all for being here, and Charles is here as well. 1 second, I'll open the microphone. Good afternoon, Charles. Thank you. And I will answer definitely your question, Fernando. Also, Charles asked a question on Slack, and I will answer those questions. And at the moment, I would like to open with our whiteboard. Do you have an access to the whiteboard? Do you see? What do we see in the whiteboard? Are you familiar with this painting? Are you familiar with the topic of this painting? Who made this painting? What is the idea that is mentioned, or Rembrandt is trying to share with us this moment. Do you have a question? I mean, do you have how you say, an idea of what are we speaking about here, or it's completely sealed? Good morning, Felipe. I would like to, if you don't have questions regarding the painting, I would like to review with you the topic. Not at all. Yes, Nadalia. On Friday, there was a podcast about the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar. He came to Jerusalem and he took from the temple holy vessels. And he brought those holy vessels to Babylon. With those holy vessels that he took from the temple, he also took 4 bright children: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. He took them to his court in a thought that one day they will grow up to be wise people that could assist his kingdom with his wisdom. During the course of his life, Nebuchadnezzar got a warning from God about his behavior. But his son, Belshazzar, we see now this painting here in the whiteboard. His son, Belshazzar, did not listen to God. What did he do? He made a great feast. We can read about this feast in the book of Daniel, chapter 5. Since the chapter is written in Aramaic and it is quite long, I just make now a little brief. So his son, Belshazzar, made a great feast, and he set on the table of his feast, he took the holy vessels of the temple and used the holy vessels of the temple in his wine feast. He did not give respect to the holy vessels of the temple. And suddenly a hand appeared and wrote a message on the wall. Nobody could understand this message until they called Daniel, and Daniel could decode the message. At the moment, we shall keep the message in a way sealed. And I would like us to relate to this painting as painting. What do we see here? Who would like to open? Those who are exposed to the painting, please feel free. Fernando, Felipe, Jill, who would like to open the conversation? Also here that Thomas is here. Good morning, Thomas. Can you share with us what you experience when you look at this painting? The colors, the relation, the address on the wall, the writing on the wall, the letters. What kind of impression do you have? Also, for those who participate on YouTube. Do you hear? Do you have a sound from us? I mean, do you hear?
Hi,
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I just woke up.
Good
How are
morning.
you?
I'm fine. I'm sorry, there was like a mistake with the microphones. They're all open now, so please, I'm sorry. Thank you.
I noticed that he's turned around, like what was it, Lot's wife? Like, do
Yeah.
not turn around,
Yes.
and then so I don't know if there's something going on with like the salt of the ego here,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems to fit in with the story.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Again,
You're welcome.
yes.
I
You
was
say
just saying you're welcome.
thank you. He's turning. You say he's like the Lot's wife. He's turning back to see what is written behind his back. Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Is this Rembrandt?
This is Rembrandt. Yes. This is. There is a little title here. This is Rembrandt Belshazzar's feast. Yes. This is it.
And
Yes.
I remember that the words are written top to down, like above to below, from up
Mm-hmm.
to the ground, let's say, and not
Yes.
from right to left.
Yes.
In this case, right?
Yes. There is a
And
beautiful. Yes. Yes, Fernando.
just to open what is written on the wall, if you could.
Yes. I would like us, before we open, I would like us to look at something on the right here. You see, the letters here are written in Hebrew, but the language of which they're written in is Aramaic. And the question is that people ask themselves, Rembrandt also made the painting of Moses coming down from the mountain with the boards of covenant. And when he painted this painting, we could read the covenant in Hebrew. And now the question is, where did he come with this knowledge to write this code language that was appearing in front of the king Belshazzar? And the answer is that Rembrandt was having like Hebrew lessons under or by the guidance of Menashe ben Israel. He was a rabbi in Amsterdam. He was the rabbi that was initiating the first print in Amsterdam, and Rembrandt was taking lessons, Hebrew lessons, at his place. And it seems that Rembrandt, how do you say, initiate his knowledge. This is, I would, before I move, because it's very complex what I'm going to speak now, so please have the patience. I did not start with a story because the story is quite long, so I have to make a little summary. What we are looking at now is a page of the Babylonian Talmud. Maybe you've heard about this term Babylonian Talmud. This is a page. This is like a sample of a page of the Babylonian Talmud. What happens is during the generations we have a deliverance. There is a discussion, and during the generations you can see there's like the core text here, and there's discussion here, and another explanation here, and another here. So during the almost 2,000 years, there's a main idea, and the sages are speaking about this idea. And then we have like a corpus. This is internet before there was internet. Just to give us, because now we have to open a bit our scope to understand a bit beyond the text, the context also. So this is a page from the Babylonian Talmud, and I would like us to look where probably Rembrandt took his lesson and come with this idea here. I make it a bit, please Do you see the letters here? I'm making it a bit large, and I'll take like a yellow pen. And there is a discussion in the Talmud what Daniel was seeing, what Belshazzar. There's a beautiful discussion here in Aramaic, written with Hebrew letters. And this is what the discussion says, and this is what you ask, Fernando. We have here, sorry, this is too big. I'll make it a bit little, the color, because it's like 5 size. It's big. Make it 1, 2. Those are the letters. It's too thick again. Which are written here. Those are the letters. We can count them. In a way, it's like a code for intelligence services. Those are just letters. But what Rembrandt did, he took those letters that are appearing here in the Babylonian Talmud, and he wrote them. I'll move again with you to the painting itself. 1 second. And here, they are written here as 3 words. So to speak, from right to left, mamatos. I'm reading like, in a way, something which is not logical. Mamatus, nanakfi, a'alaran. But Daniel knew, because there's discussion in it, that what we read already in the Bible is translated by Daniel. But Daniel got a door of letters that he had to configure it and to understand what is the illogical concept brings. And Daniel could decode it, mamatos nanakfi a'alaran. And he wrote it in this way. 1 second, I'll read what you said. And he decoded. He says, mana, 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 takel, ufarsin. He composed from it 4 words in Aramaic. Mana mana is count, like to count, like we count 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mana mana, it's like the manna that they used to eat in the desert. It's a portion. It's like to count or to portion. Mana mana, takal ufarsin. Takal is to weight, like shakal in Hebrew. Shakal is to weight, to scale something on a scale. To count, yes. Takal ufarsin is to slice. To slice. So what does it mean? What does the sentence on the wall means? God has counted and counted your deeds, King Belshazzar, and weight on a scale what you did. Counting, and then there's scaling. The third stage is count twice, and then he weighted it, third, and then he sliced, and then he decided. And what is the decision of God? The decision of God that your kingdom shall be sliced and will be given to the Pharisees, meaning to the Parsim. Parsim is Madai, Persia. Do we understand?
Yes.
Now please ask questions and about everything here.
I was gonna say something, but which word is way? Is it after the 2 counts?
Tackle. This.
Takel.
Tackle.
Tacket.
Tackle.
Okay, that's so. I was gonna say the cycles from like right to left in this painting are interesting because his back is turned to the word, and then over on the right side, his left hand is hovering above the woman in red, pouring out the vessel.
Yes.
But then to his right, you see all the people's faces,
Yes.
and they're like horrified or like astonished.
Yes.
And in Revelation, there is a rider on a black horse who holds a pair of scales, and then the rider on the red horse with the sword, which is like the slice, they were given a sword basically. So that's interesting that element is still in this painting, which was in Book of Daniel.
Thank you. Questions?
Are those grapes on the table?
It seems so that those are grapes. Yes, this is a feast of wine that he made. The name of the painting is Belshazzar Feast. This is the name of the painting made by Rembrandt. Fernando, did you get an answer for your question? Felipe? Jill, do you have questions? Do we have microphone open?
Eti,
Yes.
if I may just to ask you this count, this mana, it seems that has the same value as amen
Yes.
or malach or
Yes.
messenger.
It's true. This is true. It is true. Fernando says that mana here, the portion here has the value of 91, like amen, like angel. And in a way we can see something very interesting, because in a way it's like Maneh and Maneh, the two arms of the Aleph, like Amen, and then Takel. Takel is the weight. And then there's a decision. Do you see the scale from this? Do you understand how Fernando sees this mana as Amen and as an angel? Do you understand Fernando's direction of thinking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You remember that if we can speak about Jacob's dream of the angels, he was seeing in his dream angel that are rising and angels that are descending. It's the same thing, because angel is 91, like Amen, like manna, and one is rising and one is descending, like a judge. What does a judge do? There's a pro. Every decision that we make, we have pros and we have against, and then we decide. Here's the decision. Takel is like shakal, we wait. Yes, we count twice. Why do we count twice? The pro and the against. This is why we count twice. Also in accounting, when we do accounting at the beginning of the month, we just don't do this once, we do this twice. This is why I ask you also to check the gematria that we make in class. It's not enough once. To be sure, we make it twice, like twins and emet. Emet, teom, that it will fit. We do this from left to right, from right to left, and so on. So we have pros and we have against, and then we weigh things, and then there's decision. Do you see this, how do you say, process as parallel to the 4 rivers which are coming from Eden? It's the same thing, Fernando. If you can think, if you can see the 4 rivers, it's the same thing. It's the same process. Because we have, I'll take another color and, I'll write it here. Write it again in another color, and you will see, because this is a process of 4. Again. Mana, mana. 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 Take. Ufarsi. And slice. It's like the 4 rivers which are coming from Eden, because we have 4 rivers again. You remember, Fernando? You remember the 4 rivers name?
Yes.
What
Pishon, Gihon.
Pishon. 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 This is mana. Gihon. Mana. And Prat and Chidekel.
Hidekel.
Yes. Takel is Chidekel. Very good. Takel is Chidekel. Very good. Takel. Where is it? Takel. Takel is Chidekel. And Parsi. That's Prat. Euperat. Prat. And here Uparsi. Uparsi. It's like
Eti.
Yod, Hey. Yes. Yes. Yes, Fernando.
So we could say that his father, Nabucodonosor, could make some teshuvah, could repent somehow.
Mm. Yes.
And since he repent, his son give continuous to the kingdom. Let's say his own blood give the continuity to the kingdom.
Yes.
But now, in this case, without the teshuvah, without the turning back, it happens just that it went to the multiplicity, to the Persians. Pers is also slice. It's like the kingdom was sliced into many pieces.
Yes.
Could we see as this, in this frame of thinking, let's say?
Yes. Yes. His father repent. Also, his name, the father's name is Nebuchadnezzar. Write it here in a second. Please pay attention. Nebuchadnezzar. Do you notice 2 interesting letters? Do you notice Nebuchadnezzar in Hebrew? Do you notice 2 interesting letters?
So, I would say Nun and Sadi, but
Nun and
just
Sadi. Okay. Let's. I'll write it again, but in a different color. Again. Yes. Please pay attention. Make it a bit bigger. why his father could repent in his life and he did not. Nevu, please pay attention. Chad, Nevu, Kad, Netza. Please look at the two letters Vav and Kaf.
Okay, yes.
Mhm. This is 26. In the name of his father, Nebuchadnezzar.
Nice. I thought about Sadi and Nun because it remembers the name Netza,
Yes.
and also the sum gives 140. So I was thinking that is the essence of human being. Like
Very good, very good.
we can take with the Dalet, we can take Adam 144 in his
Yes,
name.
very good. So you say that Nun and Tzaddik is 140, yes? And with the Dalet is
Yes.
144. And you rescue from the name Adam, yes? And truth, is that right?
Yes.
Thank you so much. He was a grandson of King Solomon, Nebuchadnezzar. He was a grandson. And King Solomon had 1,000 women, and Nebuchadnezzar was his grandson.
Hey, Eti.
Yes, I can hear you.
So where did Rembrandt get those words? Is there a reason also why he said to count twice?
There is, I can bring the chapter, I can bring the Bible, 1 second, in Hebrew, which is written in Aramaic. 1 second, I'll bring this, okay? 1 second, I
Okay,
have to open, yes, please, yes?
Because you said that we count twice to be sure, but
Yes.
then I also remembered when you said like something about like this is what's on my right and this is what's on my left,
Yes.
and then like cutting between that.
Yes.
I don't know. I think it's interesting that it says to count twice.
This is what
Because
Daniel.
I think in
Yes.
our mind.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Please. I'm
Oh,
listening.
I think a lot of people just count once and don't also count the little aleph.
You think that most people count once?
Well, it's something I struggle with too. You have like an initial impression of something, or you're thinking of something, and then we can tend to forget God if it's not something that we're like thinking of.
I understand. At the moment, it doesn't open the browser that I could bring the verse original from Daniel 5 in Hebrew. It doesn't open. I'm trying, but somehow it doesn't come. But it's written in chapter 5. I can put it later on Slack.
Thank you.
It is the discussion. So first of all, your question, you have a few questions that you're asking. Where does Rembrandt, where did he, how do you say, come up with this idea of letters, the structure, and how to write them, in what order? This is it, the first question?
Yeah, like if he got them from, I guess, the book in Daniel or somewhere in the Talmud.
Because there is a discussion in the Talmud, what was Daniel receiving, because what we see already in the Bible, and I'm sorry that I don't have, Fernando, do you have an access somehow to Daniel 5 in Mechon Mamre? Do you have an
Yes,
access?
can
you help me, because it does, at the moment it does not open. I tried a few times. Daniel 5, the verse, I think in 20 something, mana, and can you just maybe copy it? how do you say, like Windows Shift and S, and you can copy the verse and put it on the whiteboard, can you? If it opens.
Yes, I'm searching here. Just a moment.
Yes, yes. There is like discussion. The discussion is quite deep. A few sages are bringing a different perspective of what was happening, really, and try to go to the bottom of it. And there is a sage that says that it was written in a code called Atbash, meaning Aleph, the first letter, equals Tav, the last letter, and so on. And another say it was left to right, and someone is say up to down. There's a full discussion here in this page. What was it really there at the moment? All this page, please see this page here. Sanhedrin is the council of sages, Sanhedrin, and page 22, and they are discussing it. Here it is. Thank you, Fernando, so much. Thank you, Fernando. So when the sages were seeing this verse, which is written in Hebrew letters but contain an Aramaic message, they were saying this is already the bottom line, what is written in the book. But what was there that Daniel had to figure out? This is already the, so to speak, the conclusion. But what kind of message or a mess of letters did he had to pull to bring this kind of structure, or to bring this kind of an idea that still you need to decode this idea? Okay, 4 words, but what is behind this? And the page that I brought here deals with what could have he seen in, and he had to decode. Each one bring a different perspective. I also check in the book of Zohar. Even Bala Sulam said that this is a very deep message, and since he has a lack of sources, he could not translate the whole of it. But since we have this evidence of Rembrandt, this is what the sages are also people who are dealing with art, because Rembrandt could write Hebrew. He learned Hebrew. He expressed his beautiful knowledge already in writing the 10 Commandments that we have seen, that Moses holds the 10 Commandments. He wrote the 10 Commandments in Hebrew, at least the second board. So why does he make this painting that maybe took him 3 years to paint, with appearance when the Hebrew letters appear in this way? And it seems that he was taking, and we know that he was taking Hebrew lessons at a rabbi in Amsterdam, and he was teaching him this page of the Talmud.
Eti,
Yes.
you know, this is interesting. Just to point out that we have this passage in Tanakh that is not in Hebrew.
Yes.
Right?
True.
You know, I didn't know this since very few days ago. I passed to some passages from Daniel and noticed that wasn't in Hebrew. Why is that? I know that you already is talking about this, but it's interesting that we have a passage that is not written in Hebrew. Could you point why it happens in this way?
It's already after the exile. In the podcast we were speaking about the fact that Nebuchadnezzar came to Jerusalem in the year 586 before Christ, he came, he took the vessels of the temple, he took the 4 brilliant children. And the language that they were speaking in Babylon in this time is Aramaic. And they just, when Daniel wrote a book, he kept the things as they are, as they were, that people will understand, because people were in exile. And in exile, most under the Babylonian king, they spoke Aramaic. So they did not change it. They did not translate it into Hebrew. They just wrote it with Hebrew letters. They wrote the Aramaic in Hebrew letters in Ashurit writing. Hebrew letters is basically Ashurit, Ashur, Yashar, from straight, like, how do you say, square letters. Yes, it's an exile. It's a very good question, because it is completely a mess, because if I was intelligent, or if I were intelligent officer, you have to decode and decode and decode it 10 times back. It's quite complex.
Thank you, Eti.
You're welcome. It is quite complex, and so far we don't have a full translation to Hebrew of the book of Daniel. There is no. Every time we find more people who are taking, so to speak, the courage, and it's a lot of effort to translate it. Not just in terms to move it from one language to another, because the concepts are so deep in the book of Daniel. So in English it's easier to read, but when you read the Aramaic in Hebrew and you go, what is going on here? You know, even Bala Sulam did not enter this. Questions? Now we have this, in many songs, we have this line, it's written on the wall. In English American songs, it's not first and second. I always hear, it's written on the wall, or it's written in the on the stars, it's in the stars, and so we can see where the source is coming. It's written on the wall. Questions?
So, also thank you for explaining all this. Just to be 100% clear, that Hebrew on the wall is written in the language of the exiles, Aramaic?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is what we see in Rembrandt, is like, how do you say, corpus of letters that Daniel decoded them as mana mana takelufasin. In a way, it was just a corpus of letters, like we have 3, 3, 3 is 9, upasin plus 6. We have 15 letters. Can you count with me in Hebrew? Mana mana, how many letters do we have here? 15?
Yep.
Yes. So Daniel received a bowl with 15 letters that he had to create from these words that has meaning, and to create a sentence, like double sentence. Not just sentence to read, but sentence as judgment. Do you understand the complexity?
So it's more like the mathematics, or like a mathematical operation, than like an analytic sentence.
I would say, let me try to figure out. When you have, we have like, how do you say, password in a computer? And in banks, we have to change the password every 1 year, every year. And the more the information is coded, how do you say, the password is changing very, very fast. So he's just trying to catch, you know.
A.T.
Yes.
It makes me remember Isaac Luria. I once was reading one of his books. I cannot remember if it is a commenter speaking about Luria or it was himself speaking, but he says that all the Torah was written as one, like this, you know, just as one word.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's correct.
And the story that we read, it's just a way to put the words, you know. It's just a foolish story, let's say. It's not what the Torah meant. It's a code. It's a code, like you said.
It's a code. And we have one draft. When we read Bereshit bara et, like you noticed. So you managed to read this. In the beginning, he created et, 1 and 4, or 1 to 400, yes? So it depends of how we cut. Where do we cut? Whenever we separate the letters, we create a meaning. It depends on us. When do we cut? When we make a space of air, like how do you call it? Space bar. And when we combine letters or separate, we create meaning. If we read it mana mana, or here they wrote it in English mene mene. They already, while they're writing this in English mene mene, they translate the Hebrew mene as conjugate counting. But it can be mana mana as a bread, as a slice, as amen. It can be so many things. This is why I bring it to you open. And this is why also we did not read today. I did not understand why. I prepared the lessons. I prepared chapter 5 in English and Hebrew and Aramaic, and I decided not to bring it. And just to tell you the story by heart, because to read the story in English, it's already, they take the meaning, they take the complexity out of it. And this is quite complex. And I didn't want to make us like, how do you say, like children voyage, because everything is there figured out. No, it's something that we read and we have to think about it.
It's amazing. It's really amazing.
Thank you. This is also why we learn to read Hebrew, that in order that we could access independently to the Hebrew letters and we could think. And we could decode, not to count on somebody else's work. And I think this is what maybe Thomas was mentioning, when most of the people are counting once. They are not just counting 1, 2, 3, they are counting on another person that will think for them, that will make decision and they will follow. But a person who's a sovereign, he thinks first and he thinks second, and he counts twice. He tries to see at least 2 different perspectives. And then there's a wait, there's a middle line. This is what the sovereign does.
You know what else I noticed?
Yes.
The letters across the top, you said it was mamatos?
Yes.
That's like a type of storm cloud, like a rolling storm cloud.
Yes.
And then just like this conception of thought as like a vessel or something. That's very interesting about how you can read it, like up and down, left, right.
It's like Scrabble. You can play with this. I would make this exercise if you want. Yes, I did not sit with myself yet to what kind of words you can create from those letters. when I saw the word Mamatus, I was thinking about Don Juan Matus. I think Felipe was reading. Carlos Castaneda. Felipe, do you have a sound? So,
Yes, Betty.
yes. Do you remember Don Juan Matus?
Yes.
Yes. This is what came to me, for instance. So, it depends. We can think, and maybe this is an exercise to create from those letters words. Yes. There are so many words that we can create from those letters. His mouth, peeve, naki, clean, kain, Cain, amen. So many words. Sof, and, Yosef, Joseph, peace, pius, par. Parrot means bull. What else we have? To cure, rapa, to cure, Raphael. We already have here the word Raphael. Reish Pei Aleph Lamed, Raphael. To cure. Also we have ashes, Efer. Also we have beauty, Pe'er. It depends.
Tikkun.
Tikkun. Excellent.
What is the last letter that the hand is on?
It seems that this is Nun Sofit. It seems that it is final Nun. It seems.
Nun Sofit?
Yes.
Is that like the second letter in count?
The second letter. Nun is like N in English, like.
Yeah.
And Nun Sofit is final Nun when we write it at the end of the word.
Oh yeah, it looks different, doesn't it?
It looks like, yes, this is Nun, general Nun, like this. A second, I make it a bit better. General Nun, regular Nun. And this is Nun Sofit with a long leg in the ground. If this is the line, this is it. Has a long line. Do we have here the word Ein Sof? Can you find it? Ein. Do we have it? Ein Sof? We have it. I think we have it. Infinite also there.
Are you just like going in a direction and then going to a side? Like you go up one, left, up, right, or something?
Again?
Because I can't read all these letters.
Shall I read the letter? You mean what is Rembrandt was writing? Shall I read the letters?
Or no, just like where do you see Ein Sof? Because I see like Aleph.
Okay, where do I see it?
Nun.
Okay, Ein Sof Aleph, Aleph, Yod, Yod, Nun, Samech, Vav, and Pei Sofit, Ein Sof, infinite.
Oh, okay. Also, the writing on the YouTube stream, it's kind of cut off.
The writing on YouTube screen? Excuse me?
Yeah, like on the live. You're writing above the picture, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
You can only see the bottom of it on
I'm
YouTube.
sorry. You don't have. Sorry. I try
It's
to
okay.
move it, and do you see the word Ein Sof, or what do you don't see?
Well, I see the dots on the picture that you put on there.
Yes.
But then the writing. Oh, there you go.
You see
If
the
you move
word
it up just a little.
you see because I don't know what you see. Do you see the word ensof here? With the
Yes.
with the
Now I do.
cloud here?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see? This is ensof, infinite.
Thank you.
I wonder what what is the, if we take out these letters for Ein Sof, the rest of the letters, what could them give to us?
Okay, so we have.
It's just to wonder about.
Mm-hmm. So we have 15 letters, and if we subtract those 6 and sof, we are left with 9 letters, and see what is left from those 9. What do they make? So we are left with 2 mems, tav, homework.
Yes, homework, yes. I guess Emmet is one of them.
Yes.
Emmet.
Emet and teom. I think we have teomim even. We have twins even.
Yes.
We have twins, teomim.
Like twins. We could think about two heads. Bereshit.
2 heads, Bereshit. Like there's a new beginning. Yes, once this, it's very good what you said, because we did not go to the value of those names, Nebuchadnezzar and Belshazzar. But definitely, if we go to this, there's so much to say about what you said, 2 beginnings. Very good, very good. Yes, Teomim are 2 beginnings. Yes. Bereshit. They have Nebuchadnezzar has the value of 600. Nebuchadnezzar? No, Nebuchadnezzar has the value of 422. Can you check me? Nebuchadnezzar 422. And Belshazzar is 622. You can check me. And in a way, Belshazzar is like 2 crowns. He thought that he is God on earth. This is why God did not forgive him and brought this inscription on the wall. So, how is it today? How do you feel with this conversation today? Is it too much?
No, I am very pleased and very thankful about it. But I think about those. I just wanted to share that nowadays I'm not having the time to read so much Torah and to study, but it's really amazing, and it's really something I appreciate a lot, because when you bring these Talmud discussions to us, we see that it is infinite discussion, it is infinite siyah.
Yes.
And just to be in touch with you all, and to converse, to talk about these deep and these great topics, and to play around with the letters, and so with respect, of course, but I think that is that if we try to overcome this subject, we will never to be in peace with it. So it's beautiful that we also can today create new words with this inscription that God put on the wall of the king, and in a way we are participating in this scene as well, in this very moment. So I, I I thank you a lot, and all of you to share your impressions and thoughts. So thank you, Eti.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you
it
so
is exactly like this, Eti. Just to ask you one last question, if I may.
Yes. Yes, please. Please feel free.
Okay, I don't know if we have time, but it's a very just one question. When we look at this, like we imagine this scene on Belshazzar feast, I'm just wondering, Yeti, because we can read these letters in so many ways, in infinite ways, like you just point to us. And I'm wondering if the king uh, would have this ability to read it in different manners and to be in touch with the essence. I think that he naturally would make his teshuvah, and he will be in touch with it, and maybe his kingdom will not be scattered, will not be separated. But since he didn't know what to read in the wall, uh, and he went to ask for Daniel, uh, he was just a victim, let's say. He couldn't uh, play with what was happening. I don't know. I'm just wondering. I don't know if my question is clear, but
I
I'm
think
just
that
pointing the ability.
he could not, and I, I think the wife asked to call for Daniel. He could not. He could not, because only a clear heart can read. We can read. We can read the chapter again and go. I don't think that we can go to the bottom of it, but we can have an access to it if we want. It's not easy chapter. And I just brought here a little quote from Rabbi Isaac Luria, and I would like, because this conversation developed as it is, I just want to read for you 2 more sentences from Luria. He says that the shell is like something external, it's not a secret. And the shell, he portrays the shell, the external, as Egypt. Egypt is like the beginning of the shell of everything. So it's like the crown, he says. This is Egypt. And then Babel is the head. And Madai is Persia. Persia, he says, is the arms. And Greece is the body. And Rome is the legs. This is why the last and the long exile is referring to Rome, Edom. Luria says that against holiness, or parallel to the holiness, to the holy, we have like shell, externalities. Externalities starts with being in Egypt. This is Egypt. And then we have Babel. And then we have Persia. Persia is the arms. And the body is Greece. Also we have Greek wisdom is the body of wisdom. And the rest is Edom or Rome. This is external expression of wisdom, all of those places. And against it, or parallel to it, we have the holiness or secrecy or intimacy and so. But this is for another session. This is quite deep. I just would like to bring it to you because we were dealing with the movement from Babylon. Babylon is the Belshazzar, it's the head, to Madai, to Persia, to the arms. And I want to bring the Luria perspective. Because there's a topic that we were discussing, this feast and the code on the wall, and its topic, the more you go inside, like you take a microscope, you can go in. But to get perspective, we are going out. So when we go out and we would like to see what is Babel against the Persian, and we see this picture that Luria brings, it brings also the context of the things that we are dealing with. I hope it was not too much for today.
It is amazing, and I thank you so much. It's
Thank you so much for
really
coming today, Toda. I will answer your questions on Slack. Thank you so much for coming here today and opening this beautiful week. I hope with a lot of sun and forward to spring in the North Hemisphere and autumn to the Southern Hemisphere. And thank you so much. Beautiful week. Toda.
להתראות, תודה רבה, איתי, תודה רבה.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom,
Shalom, my friend. Bye-bye.